Take a seat, sit back, and relax, because you are listening to Real Talk Radio, where the talk gets real. Welcome to Big Brother All-Star Edition, Week 4, Ian's Kaysar Ball.
Welcome everybody to another edition of BB Talk. This is your boy Justin JLB, and we are back with the lovely BB Fanatics. Week 4 is done. These weeks are going by quick, but I'm loving every little bit of it. Let's introduce you to the BB Fanatics. CiCi, how goes it?
Hey, it's going well. How about yourself?
It goes. It is what it is. Not too shabby. Can't complain, but no one will listen anyways. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Perfecto. So, week 4. Yeah, not a really exciting week. And we'll get to it as it starts off on Sunday. Thursday ends off with the competition, right? We see a little bit of the competition happening. The Carnival Quick Shot is what the competition was called. And Sunday starts off, we see Kaysar being a beast in this competition, right? He's knocking all the balls in. He did 2 in 1 shot like a champ. So let's first, I guess, explain the competition. It's rounds of 6, groups of 6. So it's a group of 6 people who are facing off against each other, and the first 3 that gets the balls into the hole end up moving forward to the next round. So essentially it's 2 rounds and then the final round to determine who is the head of household. So Kaysar is the champ. He sinks in all 3 balls first, and he advances to the final round. My boy Enzo is the second person to sink all the 3 balls. And surprisingly enough, someone has came to play who I didn't think would win a competition all season. David is the one that ends up getting the third win round here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he seemed into it. He was ready to play.
Well, he was pumped up. I think he's definitely got that chip, right? I mean, we talked about it. Like, he's got something to prove. No one's buying into him right now, so he has to be jacked because no one else is cheering him on.
Nope. That's very valid. So yeah, he has to play, and so he definitely at least won something here. Hopefully he keeps that momentum going. And then we see Danny win the next round along with Kevin and Cody. So another surprising one is Kevin. It's not really an athletic competition though, right? It's essentially just throwing a ball that just requires a lot of patience and a lot of skill. Was never good at that carnival game, so I never spent like $3-4 to play it. But I'm glad Kevin
like
and
the
David
one, like the one at Chuck E. Cheese where you would just roll the ball up and pop them into the holes, right?
Exactly. Final round. So final round ends up being David, Enzo, Kaysar, Danny, Cody, and Kevin. Essentially, it's a tough battle all around. But Enzo is the man who gets the power as he is able to land all his balls before the others, making him the head of household. And and this is the first time Enzo gets the title of head of household ever, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's his first HOH win.
Yeah, I was proud of him, but also at the same time, I was like, ugh, it's just going to be another week that we know is predictable,
That's it. Bittersweet. Cool, Enzo. I'm happy for you. If anyone was going to win it, I guess I'm glad it was Enzo out of the team, the committee there. Just because at least we'll get some jokes out of it. We'll get probably some new slogans going and all that. So,
but Enzo's not part of the committee, though. Let's remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus,
technically he's not. He's Slick 6 only.
Yeah.
Right, Slick 6 only.
He just has that main with Cody, so he's part of the core with the Cody and Tyler and stuff. So
Valid. Okay. And there's so many alliances that are so intertwined. It is super confusing.
We'll get to
But-
that later, I'm sure.
We'll definitely get to that. So basically, after that, we do get a nice little group conversation between Davon, Kevin, and Cody, as well as Danny. And Cody is kind of asking Danny, "Hey, what were those 2 votes? Were you one of those votes? One of those rogue votes to get Janelle to stay?" And she's like, "I swear to God, I wasn't. I wasn't doing it." And then we found out in like a flashback that Danny went to Cody and threw the idea of, "Hey, let's be the 2 rogue votes to keep Janelle to stay."
She's such a bad liar.
Well, not only that, okay, bad liar or not, whatever have you, but why would you say that the day before and then Cody's not down, but you still end up doing this rogue vote system? Like, you already know Cody knows you're thinking about doing this, so you're already going to end up being kind of on his radar. And needless to say, although Danny could deny it all she wants, Cody was not having of her bull. He wasn't having it. Ultimately, though, David got the gist of things, as when he came into the room, they asked him, and he was acting all weird about it.
Yeah, super. Like he's just
Yeah.
not a good Big Brother player. Like I don't
Well,
know. It was just such an awkward reaction. Like
Yeah, what blew my mind was that line where he said, "That's social manipulation, and I'm just not down for that." I'm like, what game do you think you're playing? Like, Big Brother is social manipulation. That's the point of it. Like, good for you for calling it out, but yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
and it's like he thought they were putting him on the spot, but it wasn't really that. I think everybody in that room was being
just like, hey,
questioned.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Everybody in the room was being questioned, and he just thought they were like singling him out, but that wasn't the case, and he just got super defensive.
And this would have been great if you were one of the rogue votes, but you weren't even one of the rogue votes. You know what I mean? So it just made you guilty, like right off the bat. The rogue votes were Enzo and Danny.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason Danny just like didn't want to cop to it with Cody, even though he knew, was because she didn't want to be forced into revealing that she pressured Enzo into doing it.
Yeah.
Right? That's why. Because Cody's gonna be like, okay, well, who did you get to do it if it wasn't me?
Yeah, and then it would have been revealing her cards that she has pull with Enzo, and probably Cody would have felt super uncomfortable. But I mean, everybody ended up feeling uncomfortable about Danny from this whole situation anyway, so she should have just said it.
That, and I don't necessarily... Did she really pull Enzo to do it, though? Because I feel like Enzo would have just rogue voted anyway.
Yeah, no, he said it because Cody said that Danny tried to convince him to do it, but Cody said no. So then she spoke to Enzo, and Enzo said yes.
Oh, snap. Okay, fair. Because I just feel like Enzo does what he wants anyways, so maybe he was going to vote for Janelle to stay just as a sympathy, because that's what Enzo's been doing.
Yeah, but that's why he was on board to do it. Like, Danny should have just gone to Enzo in the first place.
Yeah.
Because Enzo's always down for that kind of stuff. So
I love it. I just love it. Just when you think you know him, you don't, because he'll do whatever he wants, and that's what I like. He's has a game with Cody and so on, but at the same time, hey, it's my HOH, I'm gonna do what I want, which is literally one of the things that he mentioned while he was thinking about nominations. It is worth noting that on this episode, Davon and Kaysar have a deep discussion about Kaysar's religion, which led to a larger conversation about Davon shares the fears and hurts of her own community and the ongoing discrimination and harm that is done of Black people in America every day. I found it interesting that... What was that?
My dog, sorry. I'm going to mute myself for right now. Sorry, just 1 second.
Okay. I just hoped it wasn't you sneezing. I was like, damn. Okay, no worries. So, and one of the neat things that we saw in the diary room with Kaysar is that Kaysar this was kind of his main reasoning for wanting to come onto the show, to have these discussions about what's going on in America. Now he's older and so on. And I was just like, wow, okay.
yeah, and we heard a little bit of that last week too. He was in a conversation with somebody saying, like, we know why I got this call after so many years. right? So it's been referenced before by him, from him, and I think that's it's nice that he said it aloud specifically, but I think we've seen that in his demeanor kind of all season.
Yeah, that's it. Always
Yeah.
willingness to learn more in that regard and shed some light on stuff that's very important. So with that, we have a little friendship montage of now we see Danny and Nicole F. We see that they have a strong friendship in the house. They basically reiterate their desire to work together and basically tell each other what's going on in the game to push each other as far as they can. So, yay, we know that's going on. Obviously, if you follow them on any social media, you know they're besties. So they're always working together. And Big Brother chose to let us know that for specific reasons later on. And I guess we should get to the have-nots. The new have-nots are Tyler, Davon, and Danny becoming the new have-nots for the week. And this is, the have-nots. In terms of game for this Sunday's episode, we see Kaysar pitching to Enzo his desire to help Enzo in the long run of things if he were to keep him off the block this week. Christmas's punishment also ends, and they're kind of she also speaks to Christmas about weighing the options of who to nominate.
Yeah, so we start seeing like this emergence of the relationship between Enzo and Christmas that kind of started last week, and Enzo's like, I think this is someone that I kind of want in my corner, and then we kind of see that kind of start to grow a little bit more game talk. I think this is the most I've ever seen Christmas actually talk game.
Yeah, same here. I was actually, hey, Christmas, look at you. You're actually spitting some Big Brother game here. Okay, you're discussing. And great move by Enzo. You see what I mean? Enzo used his safety suite to build a relationship in the game. Because now Enzo just reassured her, hey, look, I got your back. Like, let's do this together. And Christmas was uber down. I think Christmas is honestly, although she's in the committee, she's kind of super down with anything too, though. You know what I mean? She's just kind of like...
And her and Enzo, I think they will play off of each other really well in that way of being like, you know what, the logic fits, whatever, like, I'm down, let's do it. I think she's always game, and I think that'll play really well with Enzo's style as well, of being like, he's willing to just stir poop, right? So it's I think it'll be interesting to see kind of this relationship grow. It's one of the more intriguing things that happened this week for me as a viewer.
Well, I mean, there wasn't much going on. It was a very boring week until Thursday. So absolutely from the beginning 2 days there, it was one of the I love seeing Christmas actually playing. We also see, so first of all, Enzo nominates. Emino's nominations are coming, and he nominated Kaysar and Kevin for eviction. La-di-da, no surprise.
Yeah, no surprise for us. Huge surprise for Kevin.
Yeah, right? I couldn't believe that he was shocked again.
Right. It's like, Kevin, but what do you mean, bro? You don't talk to anybody. Like, from what we see at least, you don't talk to, and the only time you talk to people is when you're in trouble. Like, no, that doesn't fly in the Big Brother house. You should know by now that you're expendable and that you're gonna be the Pawn King, because no one's gonna want to get you out. They're gonna want to get the more important person out. Sorry to say, but that's what it is. Kevin's just overly dramatic as he is, or as he usually is in the diary room. But yeah, so Kevin was shocked, and that's what happens. He also so on Tuesday's episode though, Enzo speaks with Kevin, basically telling, hey Kevin, like, don't worry, everything's fine. Kevin is not trusting him. He's worried because he knows that pawns could go home, but Enzo's trying to do his darndest to reassure. But look, I mean, I get it, no one wants to be on the block anyways, right? Like,
also, I feel like the term pawns always go home doesn't apply to this new age Big Brother, because it doesn't happen anymore.
No. And especially not this season. This season is way too safe.
It hasn't happened for the last 3 or 4, at least 4 seasons.
Yeah, the pawns go home is not a thing anymore, but this goes back to the fact that we're not seeing, the deals, we're not seeing the conversations, we're not seeing these big players actually, causing waves and doing damage while they're on the block. And it goes back to what Janelle said on her exit, right? Like the HOH is supposed to have no power, but it doesn't once the nominations are done, but it does not seem to be sinking in to the players at all.
And I think the fact that we've also just been seeing the same group winning the HOH, and that's the issue, right? Because that group, whether boring for us, it's genius for them. Absolutely genius, because yes, it's safe, but we know that Tyler doesn't care about being boring and safe as long as we're still going along. Enzo's the same way. Cody's just down. We have, ironically enough, the power people are kind of like the floaters, if you will. They want to get the power just to kind of float on through because that's what everyone else does.
Yeah,
it's so annoying.
Yeah, they want the power so that they don't have to do anything. They don't have to work, right? But it's not like we're seeing nominees work, so I don't understand why that logic is there either. Whatever.
I don't know.
Bitter fan right now.
The only one that seems to be playing though is Kaysar, as he goes back to Enzo and reiterates, "Hey, yo, look, if I stay, I'd be an ally with you moving forward." We also see David talking to Bailey about feeling like he tanked his own game with his recent slip-ups. Mm-hmm. Finally, he realizes it. Good job, David. She agrees. And she isn't sure where he stands in the house, probably outside of the house, where the big brother wall yeller was yelling from, as we saw news from this week. And
yeah, they didn't air that, but we should talk about that.
And we'll talk about it now, because I did that segue for that specific reason, because we don't really know when it happened, but I imagine it happened earlier on between Sunday and Tuesday's episode.
I think it happened pre-veto, actually.
Pre-veto, so that's perfect time. Look at me go.
I think.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. So either way, basically, there was news that came out where a Big Brother wall yeller. Now, I tried to find out how far the Big Brother wall is from where the person was yelling from. But essentially, this happened last week, too, where we had a Big Brother fan trying to yell out something to the house guest. I think it was something about Nicole F. last week. But this week, it turns out that the Big Brother yeller yelling from the wall, it was so clear that even the house guests heard it perfectly. And the Big Brother yeller said Nicole F. and Cody are playing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then the house was shut down. They had to everyone go back in, and the feeds went off and so on. And wow, I don't know if I'm happy or sad or pissed off about this, because yes, at least they know, but at the same time, it's kind of cheating.
Yeah, it ruins the petri dish. It ruins the science experiment, right? It's a contaminated sample.
That's it. Exactly. But I mean, that's it. So now I'm like, oh, perfect. So now people finally realize, okay, now we're going to see a Big Brother game happening, so that's why I was excited.
Well, and it's why people are doing it, because people are disappointed and frustrated, right? So
valid.
Yeah,
that's
the
crazy.
fans are very not happy, because all of the Big Brother comments that I've been reading, they are just very, very upset with the direction of this season.
For sure. It's really freaking boring so far. Essentially, I think Janelle and Kaysar were technically, and Kaysar were the only ones really, and Ian, I guess, but Ian kind of plays his quiet game. We're the only ones technically playing at least a decent Big Brother game, or at least for now, willing to get their hands dirty. Although Memphis, technically, love him or hate him, is playing a genius game. For him.
I hate to admit it, but it's true.
Oh. No.
It's true. I mean, I don't know if he's going to win the game, though, based on how he's playing. But we should get
Yeah.
get past the veto so we can talk about all of
Very
that.
valid. Yep.
Yeah.
Very valid. So power. Oh well, hold on. Before we get to power veto, we got to talk about Memphis hosting Mornings with Memphis.
I thought that was funny. At least we got a little bit of BB humor, because we used to get a lot more of these side edits before.
Yeah.
And maybe the house isn't as boring as we think, but if we haven't seen anything up until now and we only had one little side edit, it means they had nothing else to go on. But it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was fun. And Kaysar was the guest on Mornings with Memphis, and it was just jokes. It was a good time. They were kind of talking about what might be the headlines going outside of the Big Brother house, what's happening outside. Majority of them were wrong, but it was still interesting to see what they thought. And I would kind of like them to keep going with this.
Yes, I
or
agree.
not, it's just, I want to see those fun, quirky things that they do in the house when they're bored. Because clearly no one's talking games, so give me some side stuff then,
The house
Yeah,
is
some
too
levity.
friendly. Too many friends.
Yeah, too many friends, not enough enemies. This is ridiculous. So POV picks, we got Enzo, Kaysar and Kevin, obviously, Tyler, Bailey, and David.
And David is Kevin's house guest choice after a conversation pre-picks.
Right. Yes. Totally.
Yeah, that worked out in
Yeah.
his favor, definitely.
Yeah.
So, and that was and I think it was Kevin who strung up that conversation too.
Sure did. He sure
Yeah.
did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very shocked. I'm like, oh, look at Kevin playing the game. I'm like,
Well,
oh,
see
hey,
what
Kevin.
happens when Kevin doesn't go into depressive
Victim.
shutdown mode,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's valid. But I mean, last week he was the same thing too. Not last week, the week before. He didn't play, or at least we didn't see him play. But at least whatever. He talked to David. He's like, hey, would you consider playing for me? And David, well, David was down for it, but with David, I feel like seems always lost though.
Yeah, I was a little bit
like-
impressed at how well he did in the competition, though.
I was too. Yeah.
Yes.
So with that, we have Kaysar, whose life was on the line. He drops first after 12 minutes. I felt like Kaysar was a better endurance competitor, but I think I'm just confusing that with Janelle. But yeah, Kaysar.
But also, they're 40. Remember?
Damn it! I want to
Yeah.
say age is not a. What happened to the old saying? Age is just a number, guys. It doesn't exist.
Not in endurance competitions. Those knees and those shoulders, they get creaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair. Yeah.
And Kaysar's kind of a new-ish dad, so that goes
Yeah.
into play a lot too.
True. It doesn't. Age is really just a number, because after that we got Enzo, who's roughly around Kaysar's age, who gets down in 18 minutes. We got Tyler, who's up next, going down. He lasts 27 minutes. We also then we got Bailey, who was trying her darndest. She lost her footing, and she was trying to get it back, but unfortunately, when
She was so close too.
Yeah.
And this
She
was
super solid.
Yeah, she's right. This was a competition that she could win.
Yeah, it really was.
And so I felt really bad for her. Sucked.
Well, David did it. I think it was David who did that. He was having an issue with his footing, and he was able to get it back.
It was Kevin. It was
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin had the magic recovery and managed to get that foothold back. And
That's it. And
paid
so
off.
that's it. And who would have thought the guy that Kevin picked? They're the two last guys up there. They're hanging on. And Kevin in the diary room was just wondering, okay, David, you could drop now. We're good. Just give it to me. I'm the one that needs to be safe here. Hello. And then
but
we
like
saw...
CiCi says, he has something to prove, right?
Yes,
Which is what he said in the diary room.
That's it. So, which totally valid. But either way, David ends up falling, and Kevin is your power of veto winner, who's obviously now going to save himself. Woo! The depresso gets an espresso, and the power of veto. Woo!
And then we see some actual conversation. I hope.
Or when a nominee takes themselves off the block, it's literally the best case scenario because you have no choice, and this is the time to make moves.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Of course it is. But does Enzo decide to do that? I blame Christmas for this one. That's what I'm doing.
We could blame Christmas for that. But I honestly, as much as Meow Meow is my guy, this was him just being chicken.
No, but Christmas was the one that offered herself as a pawn.
So how many other conversations came up? We can dig into the other names that got tossed out for very valid reasons, and he didn't touch it. So,
to be fair,
I feel like he was so just convinced that the house target was Kaysar, and that's what he was going to do what the house wanted. And I'm just like, yes, but there's so many other things that could be done.
Yeah.
If you give the house a different option, right? Because no one, up until this point, no one's throwing out other names because they don't want to end up being the person on that seat, right? They don't want to be the person that's like...
Yeah. And to be honest, Danny stirred up so much shit this week that if she was on the block, she probably would have went home.
And I'm getting there. So there was other conversations happening because the Slick Six, Danny wanted to go have a conversation. They were going to do a Slick Six meeting. She goes upstairs to the HOH room and just goes into the room. Hey, Tyler, we're going to have a meeting. Hey, Nicole's here. Oh, okay. What, is there going to be a house meeting? No house meeting. Never mind. And then she walks out.
Yeah.
Like, he gave you an out. He says, is there a house meeting? You say, yeah, I think so. Yeah, you know what? There's going to be a house meeting. And then kind of just try and bring everyone together for a house meeting or something. He gave you an out. And that's your girl. We just discussed that was your girl. So why would you go in there and even say anything when Nicole already knows, I imagine?
Well, that's the thing. Does Nicole know? And if Nicole does know, that's a huge problem. Danny can't, even if she's telling Nicole, which, let's be honest, she probably is.
Yeah, she can't say that in front of Tyler, though. But I think it was definitely a slip-up.
Yeah. And, at least say, it's they want it, but they're blowing smoke. Literally. You could have said anything in that moment other than, oops, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything.
Literally anything was good. Oh, I'm having a brain fart. Sorry,
or even
breakfast.
Who knows what they're talking about? It could be I don't know. They just said that, but it doesn't really make sense to me. Who knows? She could have just brushed it off and made them sound stupid.
Memphis wants to do a morning with Memphis meeting with everybody. I don't know. You could have done anything. And I didn't it was literally just a slip up, right? But the problem with that slip up is, because obviously Danny and Nicole, they work together or whatever, so Nicole knows everything. That's cool. But now Tyler is all stressed out. Whoa, okay, so now Nicole must really know something, that there is a secret alliance or something's happening. Why did you just get sketched out? Tyler played it kind of cool, but at the same time, Tyler's not liking Danny, and neither is Enzo. So something's going on.
And this is a pattern that we're seeing with Tyler, which you kind of saw a little bit of it in his first season, but we're seeing it very, very clearly now, where Tyler will work with anybody until you mess with his game. Yeah. Then he's not talking to you anymore. He did it with David. He's doing it with Danny, and he will do it again. This is a pattern where he's
really?
We'll work. Yeah, we'll work until you screw up, and then I'm not working with you anymore. And he made that really clear in the diary room when he said it's sloppy, it's reckless, it's messy. He has no patience for that.
And
Zero.
That's the thing, especially if it's screw ups that are obvious to other players and can compromise himself. That's where he totally draws the line, because if it's little screw ups that happen in secret, he might feel differently, but when it's public ones, he totally no thanks.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a stupid slip up. So I just found it amazing how 2-3 weeks ago we were saying that Danny's not really playing, Danny's being smart, she's being sneaky, and then 3 weeks later we see that, oh, okay, now Danny's overplaying and she's being sloppy and stupid. What happened there? You see, like, it's so messed up. Like, I don't know if that's just BB editing that was
Her
messing everything
little
up.
planted seeds that we've been saying since week 2. She's been planting seeds everywhere, and she just, I think, they grew too fast, and she got tangled.
Yeah, Jack. What is it? Jack and the Beanstalk. That's what happens. You know,
Yeah.
like, whoop, it just sprouted way too much. Got to plant little seeds everywhere, like what Ian is doing.
Oh,
But I
Ian
think
just killed it this week.
Killed it. That compassionate execution of Kaysar. Yeah,
That's it.
I loved that moment. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's not happening. Like, and just being really honest about it, and
Yeah.
then twisting it, making it benefit him. And this is where Ian really shows how intelligent he is at this game, because he took that opportunity to benefit his game in a situation that couldn't be recovered. At this point, Kaysar's going home, not going to get
That's
the
it.
votes. And he takes that crucial moment with Kaysar to be like, who do you want to benefit from this?
Yeah, you
And-
need to take one for the team for the rest of us.
And he
Mhm.
knows that Kaysar would do it. Because
Yeah.
Kaysar's that kind of guy. He's down to get his hands dirty. And especially in this scenario, he has nothing to lose. He won't rat Ian out and so on. We'll get to that, though, guys. We're jumping ahead. Technically.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Stop being so Canadian. Veto meeting. Kevin uses the power of veto. And as we discussed, Enzo basically just puts up Christmas because that's the most easiest thing to do in the world. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure we got that because technically we see all the fun stuff on Thursday's episode.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't realize we didn't end the veto ceremony.
No, that's fine. So obviously now Kaysar realizes he's screwed now that Christmas is up there. However, I almost thought something different. I'm like, oh my God, now's your kind of chance for everyone just to kind of get a good player out. Kaysar is kind of a lost dog, but also he can be very dangerous. This was obviously pre-Ian stuff that I heard. Obviously, the house are nothing but followers, so clearly Kaysar was up to the right, on the right track there. He speaks with Memphis. Oh, this was hilarious. He speaks with Memphis about how he's allowing Enzo and Cody and Tyler to run the house, not knowing that Memphis is also in their alliance, obviously. And Memphis is like, I don't know, there's only a 4-person alliance.
But even further, he goes, you got to stop thinking that. Like, you've got to stop thinking that. And the confidence with which Kaysar delivers the house map is bizarrely confident and wrong. Bizarrely confident and incorrect.
Well, you got to be confident even when you're wrong. At least it shows that you can make a decision for yourself. But yeah, completely wrong. At the end of the day, though, man. Oh, man, I felt so bad. I'm like, Kaysar, he's in the alliance. I was yelling
And this
at my
is what
team.
Janelle said, too. She said Kaysar is just going to go talk to Memphis, and he doesn't even know when Julie told her that he was part of the alliance. She said this.
That's it. So then there was little talk. There was a little talk about basically Slick Six kind of being over, essentially. It's pretty much Dunskies. Because then Cody basically comes out to Enzo, comes clean about the side alliance he had consisting of Memphis, Danny, Tyler, Christmas, and Nicole. And Enzo was like, okay, bro, don't worry about it.
We're all inside alliances. It's cool. He was like,
so chill about it. It was I loved it. Yeah.
But it just goes to show that he really trusts in his core alliance, and they understand that we're the core, and the best way for the core to advance is for the core to have other alliances to benefit everybody.
But what other alliance is Enzo in? Aside from Christmas, I guess, if that's an alliance or whatever, work-friend relationship.
Yeah, I think it's just he understands that there's relationships outside of whatever was agreed upon, and if you don't have that, you're not playing the game. And I think that this also shows Enzo's confidence in his own game himself. The fact that whatever Cody is doing doesn't actually impact him in any way means that he's not actually dependent on Cody, which is a really good sign for his game.
Remember, Cody and Enzo had a 4-person alliance with Bailey and Davon, and then Enzo and Cody are also in a 4-person alliance with Nicole, F, and Danny. So he feels like he has like two side alliances that are like beneficial to, like, he has the girls of Nicole and Danny, and then the girls on the other side of like Bailey and Davon. Plus then he knows he has his Cody and Tyler, which they're like the main core, and then the Slick Six, obviously, but that doesn't really count. But so Enzo's pretty well like in an alliance also.
True, valid. By the way, do they have a name for Cody, Tyler, and Enzo? I don't think so.
I
Huh?
don't think so. I think they just called themselves like the core.
The core. Okay, so the Rue is just something completely different.
That
That's
was just
Enzo
Cody and
Cody?
Enzo, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The core. I like that. That's kind of different. The core. Nice. So, guys, we talked about it. We were mentioning that Tyler is eventually going to go talk to Bailey and throw David under the bus. Well, you guys mentioned, I think I disagreed with you last week about that. But Tyler went, in fact, to go do damage control with Davon, now that David outed Tyler last week. And he basically confides in her that Danny has it out for her, and she considers what his means for her and the game are. So he did two things. Hey, I hope we're still good. I hope we're fine. David's an idiot. And then, oh, by the way, you should kind of watch out for Danny, though, because she's been telling us stuff about you, and I'm pretty sure she's doing that to everybody in the house. Hence, planting those seeds.
And Tyler also had, I think before talking to Davon, he talked to Bailey. Or at least the editing said it was before. So he did the same thing basically with Bailey. And Bailey said, yeah, but she's not working the other way, right? So Tyler went into these conversations asking. So he's investigating basically Danny's spooky behavior after her slip.
Right.
And so now he's going to the rest of the Slick Six Alliance to see, is she trying to break us up from the inside? And I think that's really intuitive of him because of Nicole's reaction / lack of reaction, right?
Well, yeah, because Nicole was the first one to say, I think she just slipped up. And like, why would Nicole say that when Tyler was the one that should have known that she slipped up first? So that makes me think that Nicole might have an idea.
Oh, I kind of just took that as like, hey, we were just having a conversation, just kind of like a general thing, like, oh, she probably slipped up about something about the game that she wasn't supposed to say, kind of thing. I don't know. That's how I took it.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, but I think, I mean, that slip up, Tyler's conversation with Bailey and Davon, basically this signals the end of the Slick Six as it is.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's all Danny's fault.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's it. I don't know how you plant so many seeds. Like, you usually do one section of the garden first. You know, you don't go planting it on all sections. Okay, you probably do as a gardener. But, I mean, when you're in the BB house, you make sure you focus on one section, get a little things going there. You don't just splatter it out everywhere.
Yeah, and her strategy would have worked if she just didn't start doing it within one of her alliances too soon.
And that's where she screwed up. And I think it's one of those things where it wasn't necessarily that her strategy changed or was different, but she kind of lost control of it.
Yeah.
Right? So it became a habit to do it. And then once it was started, you can't kind of undo it.
Well, that's the beauty of too many alliances. It's like putting out too many lies. You forget which ones you're in, and you forget which ones you're supposed to be loyal to.
I think she also got cocky a little bit.
Yeah,
she was getting away with it for so many weeks.
And like she said in the diary room, like she's the one pulling strings, and I was like, okay, Danny.
Yeah.
When they talked about the veto comp, because it was like a puppet master, and she was like,
right.
she's like, she goes, if we're gonna talk about puppet masters, I think I'm the one running the house here. Like, okay, Danny.
Yeah, pulling the strings to your own demise. Like, get out of here. Too quick and too negative. They did that montage too when she was talking to like Tyler a bunch of times, and then I think also other people.
Everybody.
This, I think that. This person is this. Like, okay, I get it. It's the BB house, and people talk trash about each other. And in a montage, it looks even worse. But holy hell, these people are in your alliance. Like, try to maybe get the other people out first, or I don't know, go to people who won't necessarily. I don't know. She definitely did too much. Too soon.
Danny's in the committee, right? With Memphis?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is what I'm thinking. I am thinking that Danny thinks the committee is her number one alliance, and she thinks that the Slick Six was a cover alliance for the four of them that are in there, or the three of them that are in there. So she doesn't take the Slick Six seriously. So the clues that she's been missing out on is that Cody considers the Slick Six a little more important than, and Tyler considered the Slick Six more important than the committee.
Yeah. Yeah, because they kind of turned on Memphis last week, and I don't think she caught on to that.
Yeah, but then maybe she did. That's why she was bashing Memphis so much.
Yeah,
right?
but then she shouldn't have turned on Bailey and Davon also.
True. Yeah.
Because literally, if anybody knows Bailey and Davon, like, don't let them get a wind that you're talking shit about them. They are very out. Like they will call you out on you on you.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah, they will call a house meeting.
I mean, look, and it works, right? We've seen Evil Dick do that. That's Evil Dick's game, technically. He does that. He calls people out. But the thing that's different is she's cocky, but backstabby. Evil Dick will stab you to your face.
Front, exactly.
You know, like... and that's the thing, and that's how you got to be more confident in that regard. Danny tried. It wasn't like, it's just too much too soon in that regard, and this is what happens.
I think Danny sealed her game. I'm going to be honest. I don't think she's got a chance.
Yeah, I'm waiting for eviction so that I could talk about what I think about this.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Because then I'm going to be told by Justin that we're jumping ahead.
Well, we only have one thing until then. So we do get the conversation. So Kevin starts playing more game, but this is just due to Ian finally, trying to get little alliances here and there. So we see Ian confiding into Kevin about who he thinks the core people running the house are. He names Cody, Tyler, Nicole F, Danny. Then in a backyard conversation with Bailey, Ian tells her that he thinks Cody is the lead of the house, and she thinks that Danny is the leader of the house. And the two agree to work together in a surprisingly duo team of Ian and Bailey, which I kind of like. I like that.
Yeah, I like this working relationship.
I do too. They're gonna tag team the dismantling, I think.
And I loved how they did the 1, 2, 3. Okay, say you say it in 3. Okay, you say it in 3. 1, 2, 3. Cody, Danny. Oh.
Yeah, because they're trying. So that's building trust in kind of a really cute way of being like, you don't want to tell me because we haven't talked enough, and I don't want to tell you because I don't know where your head's at. So let's just try it. Let's just see if we're on the same page or not. So I think it was a smart suggestion by Ian to try to kind of build that bridge with Bailey.
That's it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So in the bathroom, right, Kaysar was coming up to Bailey to try to basically make a plea. And Bailey's like, my alliance was with Janelle in the DR, right? We see her, my alliance with Janelle doesn't transfer to you. And Kaysar was like trying to talk, and she straight up said to him, now's not the time for this conversation.
Yeah, she was very stand up with him. Like, you should have talked game with me before you were on the hot seat.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yep. Because this was POV. This was before the POV. Because
that was when he picked her for POV and then came and talked to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she made it really clear, like, I'm not dumb. I see what's going on. Don't be condescending. And not the time for this conversation.
And he's like, oh, I wasn't telling you who to pick. And she's like, oh, no, I know you weren't. Kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, straight up. Like, Kaysar, like, come on, bro. Like, you don't go up to her after everything is said and done. You know what I mean? You should have built this up. I don't know why you didn't start talking to more people. Like, this was your time to shine. This is your time to play the game. You can't go to Cody. You can't go to Tyler. And, Ian's just going to convince him to do it next. At the eviction ceremony, because that's the only time I've seen him talk game, essentially. Yeah, so basically that's basically what I'm telling you. That's Ian starts talking to Kaysar about that. So Ian goes and talks to Kaysar, says, hey, he basically talks about the inevitability of this eviction. Look, it's gonna happen. Like, you're out, right? Kind of saying it in a buddy kind of way. I was looking at how he was wording his things, because I was like, all right, Ian, you're smart. You know how to do this. So that was cool. And he believes that there are multiple alliances, Ian tells Kaysar, which are on shaky ground. He says that the core of the alliance is Cody and Nicole F. And Kaysar weighs whether or not he should try to start a commotion before he leaves. And Ian is like, hey, yeah, you know what? I think that might be a good idea to give everyone else kind of a shot. Or I think that was kind of a joint reasoning between the two.
Well, I'm glad that it worked.
Yeah,
me too.
so that
Compassionate execution. There's just no other word for it. I love it.
you know, Ian was building that Kaysar bomb. He was like, "All right, it is fully set. I have it set for eviction ceremony night at 8:45. I am gonna set it to detonate at this time. Doot, 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 doot. Boom.
And I'm gonna give it just enough information so that it works but doesn't blow back on me.
Exactly. Oh, I love it.
It was beautiful. It was magic.
And so we will get to the detonation. Basically, Julie asks Kaysar and Christmas, "Hey, do you guys have anything as your final things?" Christmas does a nice little fancy poem. I don't remember it if any of you guys do. But it was
Too long
cute.
to remember, but
It was cutesy.
cute. Yeah.
It was cute. You could tell she rehearsed it, so that was dope. And then Kaysar gets up and just comes out swinging. He basically says, "Listen, I love all you guys. You guys are all great. I love you all on a personal level. But you guys need to start playing the game."
He said their gameplay sucks.
Sucks.
And it's true.
I'm trying to be so diplomatic for some reason. So,
He said it. You can quote him.
yeah, so he said, guys, I think your gameplay sucks. No one's really playing in the house. There are alliances in this place. Cody and Nicole F. are kind of the ones running things. And then he said something about Enzo and Tyler. He's like, "Enzo and Tyler, I know you have something." He's like, I knew it before even coming to talk to you, kind of thing. I wish I had the speech up. Yeah, he tells them all that Cody and Nicole F. are in the alliance and running the house. The Enzo, David, Tyler, Cody have their own guys alliance, and that Danny, Cody, and Nicole are also in an alliance, leaving Cody in too good of a spot. He urges them to keep him if they actually want to play the game.
Everything was spot on except for David, because David is the only one that wasn't in the alliance.
Well, the only thing is that David's fallout was relatively recent, and I don't think Kaysar's aware of that because he doesn't have a relationship with Bay and Day.
Exactly.
Had he had a relationship with those two, he would have known about the David fallout situation and maybe would have talked to him at some point during the week.
But I love how Memphis was never mentioned. Like, bro, how do you know all these things happening and you not see Memphis anywhere, though? Like, how are you so observant and so crystal clear on your ideas, you don't see what Memphis is doing?
Because he's not a great game player.
Yeah, and can't tell when Enzo is lying point blank to your face while simultaneously saying, "I can tell you're being honest with me." We shouldn't be ripping him too hard. He just got evicted unanimously. Poor bloke.
10-0, and wow. So, needless to say, he was completely shocked when Julie told him, "Hey, you were right about that alliance, but you were missing two people. You were missing Memphis and Christmas." And he was like, "Oh." It's like, "Oh, I got blindsided."
Super shocked. Yeah.
Super shocked. And he just realized that every conversation he's had, every moment in that house, he's like, he missed it. He missed any of his opportunities because he couldn't see those two involved.
That's it. He just, I don't know. It was weird because he was so observant, and you would, like he kind of hinted it at the diary room though, when he's like, "I don't know if Memphis just doesn't see it or he's in the alliance." Like, you're just coming to that kind of conclusion of, it could be this or that. Hey, Kaysar, why not try to explore that? What if he is in the alliance? Mm-hmm. How can you go and check that out?
I think he didn't want to believe it, which is why he just shrugged it off.
Truth.
Yeah, but, belief is sometimes something you gotta do. because now he's out there and Memphis is still in there. Could have blew up his game. He could have, well, I mean, at least to the other people. But Memphis is riding squeaky clean. He is good. No one suspects him of anything. And that kind of continues with the HOH competition. Oh, before we get off Kaysar, though. Kaysar also, you could tell, found it pretty interesting how he couldn't take off his mask when talking to Julie.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, can I take off my mask? No, you have to leave it on. Sorry.
Yeah. And
No, you can't.
CiCi, I didn't tag CiCi because I'm not friends with you on Facebook, but I did tag Justin in a CBS Big Brother post on Facebook about how a lot of fans were not understanding why the mask is being worn by the house guest and not by Julie, even though they're social distancing. So the point that you made last week, Justin, apparently the rest of America agrees with you.
Yes. Thank you, America. Thank you. No, that's it. And I saw a whole bunch of people. I'm like, oh my God, I am not crazy. People agree with me. And I was like, okay, let me get on this chatter sphere here. All right, guys. Yeah, I agree. Da 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 da. Bunch of people liked my post. I was happy. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. But whatever. It's not going to harm anyone, I guess. She's still like 12 feet away, so it doesn't matter. But it's silly. It's all for PR. That's all it is. Kaysar's glad to play the game. He does mention, though, he didn't do it for the money. He did it to kind of go into the game to kind of inform people and educate people of what's going on in the world, to try to have those deep emotional conversations with people, to shed some light on, different cultural backgrounds and stuff like that. And thought that was uber cool. That was kind of his whole motive for doing it.
Oh, and can we bring up the little joke that Julie pulled where he thought he was going back in the house?
That was so funny. No, I don't want to go back, please.
It happened to him twice. So, I mean...
Well, that's why she said this is why, because she was saying about like the conversations that he had, and this is why people like him so much, and this is why he was voted back. But he was like, "What? I'm voted back?" And she goes, "No, last time. This is why you were voted back last time."
Like
No,
you would have. I don't think all the money in the world would have put him back in that house. I really don't.
But if you're already, he has to isolate for 14 days now, anyways. I feel so. I would have just stayed, kind of. If it was a legit thing, hey, coming back in the house, do it. At least you're gonna be with people. You can talk to people. You can, I'm still doing what you want to do. Still put your mission through, if you will. But that would have been hilarious. I would have loved it. Do you guys think there's gonna be a comeback this year, though?
I don't think so. I think they're better off
No.
doing twists for the gameplay than having people be brought back.
For sure. Agreed.
Speaking of twists, there's going to be a new twist called The Basement, which we know nothing about yet, because we are going to find out on Sunday.
We know some stuff. It's gonna be all in the dark, and it will have
There's
3 powers.
3 new powers, yeah.
Oh, snap, we do know stuff. You're
And
right.
It kind of
Okay.
reminds me of the competition that David got eliminated in.
I got flashbacks. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna have PTSD.
I hope he wins it. I hope he wins it as like a revenge from like last season. That would be awesome. Yeah, I hope he wins it. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Then they start off with the new HOH competition. Obviously, Enzo can't play. He was the former HOH. I don't know why they have to mention that every time. I think if you're watching the Big Brother game,
It's semantics.
It's
Yeah.
probably has something to do with the rules, like the rules, because there's a cash prize at the end.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
And by the way, this year it's only 500,000. Wasn't it
It's
a
always
million at one point?
500,000. No,
It's always
always
500,000.
500,000.
Is Canada a million?
No, Canada's even less.
Survivor's a million.
Survivor's a million. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
And this is why Ian and Nicole F, their alliance is the $1 Million Club, because they're the only 2 previous winners. So if they win, they get $1 million.
$1 million, yeah.
Snap. Nice. That's there you go. Okay, that's why I was like 500,000. I'm like, I swear it was a million. I was confusing it with Survivor. All right, so HOH head of household competition is called the Filter Face-Off. And this is basically where the house guests are presented with filter pictures of their fellow house guests and asked in pairs of 2 to correctly answer the questions that Julie gives. So essentially, all of the house guests face off with one eliminated in each round until there are two left,
Yeah.
which ends up being Christmas and Davon. And it is might be worth noting that Christmas was never picked to ever play technically in terms of because when that winning house guest had to pick someone,
Yeah.
Christmas never was picked.
And that's like I said in our chat, it really just goes to show I love these competitions because it really exposes game. And if people understood that, like, these competitions, because they don't do them often throughout the Big Brother season, but when they do, they really expose a lot of game because it goes to show who the people think are not a threat and who was not a threat. Tyler, Memphis, and Christmas were the last three.
The last three. And it also shows when they pick in pairs, like if you're chosen with somebody, the house assumes you're working together.
Exactly.
So it shows that. And Davon's pick of Danny was hella frosty.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
Even Kevin was like, I don't know who to pick. Nicole and Cody. I just feel weird.
Yeah, he just shouldn't have said that at this point. It's game. It's like, come on, just say the names and go play game.
Yeah.
I was like, why do you feel weird, bro? You
Coding himself in indecision like it's going to protect him from something.
Exactly.
So, but to be fair, Memphis was the only one with like random picks, technically. Everyone else were
Yeah, because he
picking-
doesn't want to expose that he knows what's going on. He wants to play dumb.
Yeah, he understands the impact of those picks.
I think Memphis is winning, guys. I truly do. I truly do.
I hope you're wrong, but
I mean,
too.
I hope I'm wrong too, but he's playing like the most genius game there.
yeah, but I think he'll if he gets to the final two, I don't think they're gonna vote for him again.
His jury management has to be on point, and I don't think he has it. We'll see if it changes when jury starts, but he would have to be letting things slip as you're going out the door.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't
Basically.
think he's that good at thinking 4 weeks ahead.
Yeah. And he's not going to have a resume like, okay, so you put alliance together and then you did nothing.
Hold on. You put the alliance, the committee together, and you got the safety suites out of. I guess that's not really a thing because it was only for 3 weeks. Yeah, no, fair. All right.
There you
you're
go.
Yeah.
Right.
Good effort there, though, Justin.
No, I tried. I'm trying to defend Memphis. You know what I mean? Like, I love this talk show so much. I decided, why not try to? No,
he
but
has
yeah,
he would have to get a resume, which means he would have to start winning. If he starts winning now, he puts himself in jeopardy because he can't make any decisions right now without blowing up his game. So he can't win anything for at least 3 weeks unless something explodes, implodes,
yeah.
and really messes up. He can't make any decisions without ruining this pretty spot that he's in.
Yeah.
So it's after that point we'll see if he can build a resume, and by then it might be too late.
And this guy is still going after David. Like he said
Yeah.
in the diary room, "Oh, if I get it, I'm gonna go after Dave." I'm like, bro,
For no
what
reason.
the hell? I think I know the reason, CiCi. I think I know the reason. And that's why
Yeah.
Morning with Memphis has no viewers. Okay, I'll stop with the Morning with Memphis thing. Okay, so basically,
So Christmas wins. Womp womp.
Womp womp. Yeah, I mean,
She steals it from Day, is what she does.
no, Davon messed up and hit first. You shouldn't have done anything. You should have waited till Christmas, or just look at the freaking picture and take your time, because, I mean, she hit that so quick.
Yeah, she was quick on the trigger.
Way too quick on the trigger. And like I was looking at it on my screen, I was like, okay, wait, how many are up faces upside down? 1, 2, boom, Davon hits. I'm like, whoa, I'm sitting down here comfortably having my popcorn and I couldn't even get through it. How the hell did you already guess? Like,
David did the same thing. He hit that buzzer before the question was done.
yeah, so basically that's pretty much it. David hit too early. Davon shouldn't have done anything. Davon should have just waited or like looked at the actual picture and make sure it was less, more, or exactly. Which, by the way, there was 3 buttons. It was either less, more, or exactly the right number of whatever Julie mentions to you.
Filter filters. So yeah, so I mean, like, but Davon had been very successful early on, and so my thing was like, oh yeah, that dealing skill, dealing cards in the casino, probably helped that. And yeah, she just missed it. I think she got nervous / excited and just lost it. So
Because
it sucks.
I think she realized she messed up though right away. Like I think she wanted to hit more, but she hit less. And she was like, "Oh, but too little, too late," kind of thing. Christmas wins. You see at the end before it ends that Davon is so happy for Christmas. I guess trying to be like, "Okay, yeah, don't put me up though."
Good sport about it. And Christmas was apologizing. She's like, "I'm sorry. Like, how many rounds did you win? Right?" So like, Christmas acknowledged that, like, she essentially got lucky. It was given to her, whether intentional or not.
No, valid. And I'm just curious. So I feel like, is it going to be the same thing? Is Christmas going to maybe go after Danny?
Because I think no. Because Christmas and Danny, I think they're the most invested in that committee. Memphis is obviously invested in it because it's the only thing that he's swimming on. It's his lifeboat.
Right.
And then Christmas and Danny, I think, are in there. Christmas has some other relationships to kind of keep herself cushy, but those two are I think they're taking it much more seriously than the other three. But yeah, because I think Nicole F just like assumes they're gonna skate all the way through with this, but I don't think Tyler and Cody take it that seriously. So we'll see. And with Danny in both the Slick Six and the committee having done what she did, it's gonna be interesting to see what the fallout of those alliances are. I think they're both gonna kind of wither as a result of this poison ivy that seeds were planted.
Right. And then that's it. So it really depends. Will Enzo have more control now? Not will Enzo just take control again because Enzo and Christmas are working well together, but Enzo really wants Danny out, right? So will he push that on Christmas? I guess we'll see. It's still very up in the air. So I like the somewhat randomness that it might be because I still feel Christmas is also good with everybody, so it forces her to kind of get her hands dirty now, which, thank God someone needs to get their hands dirty here because I don't think there's any more floaters unless you put up Kevin and David, which is another safety move, and I'm just going to be pissed off.
If Christmas does that, I'm going to be so disappointed. What I'm hoping is that Bay and Ian get into her ear a little bit.
Does Ian have a deal with Christmas? No, huh? He just has
just with Bay, but he's talked to Christmas, and Christmas has talked to him. They've had a couple moments in the show where they're talking about game. I don't think Christmas knows the type of game player that Ian is, so it'll be interesting to see if anything happens. I think Ian's going to try. He's not going to have a choice but to try. The problem is that Ian's going to get himself in the same position Kaysar did if he's not careful, which is outing Christmas's alliance to Christmas, not knowing that she's in the alliance.
Right.
So I think it's going to be touchy. Bay, I would love to see Bay and Christmas have a conversation that's meaningful. Yeah.
Man, I think.
But also, let's not forget that Ian did get Christmas to choose him as the +1 for the safety suite.
Yeah.
Ian chose who as a +1 for the safety suite?
So Ian had that conversation with Christmas, right? They were both playing. And so he said, I'll save you, you save me.
Oh, snap. Yes, true. So, man, hey, what if Ian, Miss Bailey, man, this is the perfect opportunity for Ian to kind of get something going. And if Christmas is kind of smart, she sets up another alliance with them because, damn it. What's her alliance again?
No, committee.
So,
because if she gets an alliance that doesn't have committee members in it, she's going to be stuck with nominations. So she also has to be really careful. So she either needs to lean on Tyler and get Danny on the block in order to blow that up. If she's going to make a second alliance, she would have to go after the committee. So there's no standing in the middle because it would have to be like Bay, Ian, Kevin maybe. But I don't think she'd take it seriously.
I honestly think this alliance should be blown up though, because man,
I agree.
From the wall yeller rather, come on, like everyone had to have heard that. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be questioning stuff there too. why are the fans saying that? Why is Cody and Nicole F running things? Da 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 da. Okay, maybe they're in. The only people that are kind of like I don't care is Enzo and maybe Tyler and Memphis, because they're kind of probably just all like, whatever. I got like a final
No,
two
but
deal.
Enzo and Tyler are pissed at Danny. So that's the other side of it, where Enzo and Tyler could come up to Christmas and basically blow up the committee. But if Christmas is going to make that move, she has to have something that doesn't have committee members in it. She's going to have something else before she blows up the committee. The only thing that's a hiccup in this is Ian. You could come in and try to do. Christmas is going to try to pull in Enzo because of their new relationship, but Enzo won't work with Ian. So it's
Right.
so Christmas's stability is uncertain here because she either has to go super super safe or she has to blow everything up and risk having nobody.
Oh man, I would do it though. You're not gonna have nobody. You're gonna have Ian. You know what I mean? Like Ian will definitely protect you. Like I don't know, do it because at the end of the day, Christmas has to realize at the same time. I guess maybe you don't realize, but you gotta know that the boys are tight. Like I feel like you see this already though. You know, for Christmas's game, they're not gonna take you to the final two. You gotta cut that string now. There's no point. So I would try to do something. This is a perfect opportunity for Ian to rally up some people. You know, like try to convince Christmas to do that. Hey, you know what? I was gonna pick you as a +1. Remember that conversation? I think you're right. She doesn't technically know about Ian's game and how he plays, and I don't know why. If she should definitely go rewatch that season when she's out of the house, because gee golly, missing out on a great season there. But yeah, she has to start making big girl moves though, because if she plays it safe, then I don't know, man. I might be done watching this season. I won't be, but gee golly, if I
It's
didn't
going
have
to
a
be
podcast,
tough to get through.
like lame-o potatoes. I don't. I hope she makes big girl moves. That's all I hope. And I think Ian, for the sake of our entertainment, bud, just start talking to more people, get into some more ear holes, and just start stirring some stuff up because Janelle tried, Janelle got bonked. Kaysar tried, Kaysar got bonked. Well, through Ian's doing. So I hope just something happens because gee golly, we have to get a game going. The game needs to be played.
Agreed.
I do think she's gonna play it safe. Because I was a little bit bummed when she won, but I'm hoping she doesn't. But I have a feeling she will, because if you see I always go by who's the first person to hug the winner of the competition. The first person to hug her was Nicole. So that just goes to say that Nicole probably thinks she's gonna be pretty safe. And if Nicole feels safe, then that means Danny's gonna be safe too.
Yeah.
I mean, have we seen them talk game though?
No, but that's just editing. Why did
Right.
Nicole run to hug her as soon as she won? If you look back,
It's Nicole's game, though, I think, more than Christmas's.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could also just be like, oh, I don't really talk to you, but hey, I love that you won. Come here,
Well,
you know,
they're
maybe
alliance together, right? So, and it's the only alliance really that Christmas is in. So, I guess Nicole
Oh.
just thinks she could work her to
True.
benefit her gains.
Yeah, I can't stand Nicole. I hope she randomly puts up Nicole. It's not gonna happen, but she definitely has to pick a side, though. I feel. So you think she's gonna play it safe, and that's pretty much it.
I think so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So somewhat of a boring week. Thursday was fun. The competitions were not bad. We got a nice little endurance competition. I feel like that was the first one of this season that was pretty like a full length hanging onto a rope and so on. Full
Yeah.
endurance competition. So that was nice to see. Finally get to see who can play. And yeah, we'll see what a Christmas week looks like in the Big Brother house. As this
I think it's really funny that we end every podcast with, well, let's hope they don't play it safe, but we think they will. And it's been like 4 weeks in a row now.
and we've been right. We We can hope, but we just know. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I can't wait till we start talking like, oh my God, guys, I can't wait till next week. This is going to be crazy. What's going to happen? Like this week, I already know what might happen. Surprise me,
See,
Christmas.
and like the only real benefit that Kaysar was evicted was like, okay, now you really have no more clear targets. So now we can play the game, and then Christmas won. So I'm like, oh, does that mean another boring week? So I'm like, just when we thought we were going to start gameplay, you know, it's always after week 4 that it gets interesting, and now I'm like not so sure.
That's it. At least until David and Kevin are out, we're always going to kind of see them play it safe, I feel. They'll use them as like decoys. Or that's why I wanted Davon to kind of win, man. I feel like Davon might maybe stir some stuff up.
Yeah, I think Davon would have put up Danny 100%.
100%, and maybe Memphis.
Yeah.
Why Memphis?
I'm pretty sure she just doesn't like the dude.
Oh, right.
For reasons that we're not talking about. But
Why
yeah.
Morning with Memphis has no viewership. I said I was going to stop saying that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame her. I feel the same way. So yeah, that's it. So again, we say the same thing to end it off every week because Big Brother has been the same safety Big Brother that these all-stars have been playing. And
They're playing all scared. Thank you, Nicole.
That's. I feel like that's the best slogan in Big Brother history. Yeah.
History? Maybe
Top
not.
five.
Top five.
And so that's it. So we'll just see what's gonna happen next week in that regard. I definitely look forward to it somewhat because I look forward to chatting it up with you guys, whether it's good or bad. And so we're gonna end it off here. Steph, would you like to give them your socials so they can see where they can get some cupcakes or order some cakes or whatever have you?
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram at Stephanie's Bakery 514.
Boom. And perfect. So you can order cakes if you're in the Montreal area. I don't know how busy she is. She gets a lot of orders, but I'm sure she perhaps maybe can squeeze you in. Definitely check out her cakes if it's something that interests you. Why not? It's support your local business. And who doesn't have a sweet tooth? I know I do. I might be putting an order in soon. CiCi?
Rice for Ramadan. We are still going. We're heading into the rainy season's coming to an end, but international travel means that artists are not coming into the country. So stages and training and classes are not happening. So we're still doing fundraising for our artists out of Guinea. Rice for Ramadan is on GoFundMe.
So we mentioned they had 4,500 left. Do you know what they have now?
There hasn't really been a huge bump in the last week, unfortunately. I think with life going back to normal for a lot of people, it's tough. It's slowed down a little bit. So hopefully we can see something. Reach out to Sarah to see if we can get some more videos of our groups.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And we'll put it in bold letters and kick a few of our listeners in the keister here to maybe bump in a few dollars, if you can, of course. I'm just teasing, but if you can, by all means, it's for a good cause. And yeah, perfect. So Rice for Ramadan, definitely check that out. We're going to have all the links there in the doobly doos. Of course, Justin at JLB420 is my personal Twitter. Real Talk Radio is the brand at Real Talk Radio 8. Anchor.fm/RTR is where you can find all the streamers. That's right. All the places you can stream our podcast on. And that website, still not updated. So I am still going to promote it because, gosh darn it, will be updated eventually. realtalkradio.online because .com and .ca is so bland. And that is it, guys. So if you have ever any questions, don't be shy. Don't be afraid. There's something that you like, something that you don't. What did you like about what's happening on Big Brother? You can certainly hit us up. We don't bite. Thank you guys for listening for the Week 4 recap of Big Brother. Here's to hopefully exciting Week 5. Ciao for now.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. See you guys next week.